Good afternoon, fans from around the world. It's Formula One Fanatics once again. And today we're going to be looking at a number of issues. Checho is staying at Red Bull at least until the end of the season. And we're also going to be looking at Carlos Sainz's departure to Williams, as well as Mercedes-Benz shenanigans with Hamilton. And to discuss that with me, Mustafa Jinadu, all the way from the United States of America. And I'm still Afolabi Olalofiya. Welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to the number one Formula One show coming out of Nigeria and one of the rising shows in the Formula One spectrum. We bring you the counter narratives. We don't talk about what everybody else is talking about. We talk about things that are insightful, but nobody would thought to focus on. For example, I'm not focusing on Russell getting disqualified for weight. That's boring. What I'm going to focus on is a young man who can drive 32 laps with a deficit to Lewis Hamilton, and he survived. And anyone who wants to say that it's because of the weights, scientists have done tests. The weight differential might have made a difference of about a second. But the
Yeah,
truth
but
of
it's
the matter is that
negligible.
Lewis is negligible. The truth of the matter is that Russell was in tune with the car and he realized there was clear air. Sainz said the same thing to his team, but unfortunately, something happened. I think he had some problems and he couldn't do the one-stop strategy. The one-stop strategy by Russell was brilliant. Lewis Hamilton is, I don't want to use the B word. Let's just say he's pitching. He's pitching about his team didn't let him know that Russell was going to do it, and they should let him. And all I have to say is, Lewis, you have a point. But at some point, you must be a man, and you must have the insight to know your car and to insist that you do the one lap stop, and they would have let you do it. It's your fault, Lewis. At the same time, congratulations to Lewis for winning, technically winning, because it was given to Russell. And I'm not being funny because Lewis has been out driving Russell for the past 2 weeks, and it was only that one-stop strategy. So I'm sorry to start on that because we're going off track. I just want to let people know this is what we do. We just tell the truth in Formula One.
Yeah,
And
sure.
by the
Absolutely.
way, I'm a Verstappen fan, but I believe that Verstappen needs to go to bed and stop being on the well. So don't anybody should ever say that we only talk about truth, that we don't talk about truth here. It doesn't matter. We don't even know who Afolabi's favorite driver, although I know, but we won't even talk about that today. But he doesn't lean
Michael
towards that person.
Schumacher.
Afolabi, what are your thoughts on what I quickly said about Russell and Hamilton? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, Hamilton, I think he's under psychological pressure as a seven-time world
Oh yeah,
champion.
his favorite driver is Schumacher, and he told me that. And that's what I respect you, because to me, no, I don't even care about Senna fans. Schumacher is the GOAT. But we're going to talk
Yeah,
about that on our next episode. We're going to keep you waiting because you want to hear why we think he's better than Senna. We're going to
yeah.
tell you in the next episode. So, quickly, your thoughts about Russell and Hamilton. I think both of them are great drivers, and we need to end all of this rubbish about speculations and all this rubbish. Continue. Yeah.
Hamilton's career has set extraordinarily high expectations because of his record of wins and championships. So his frustration, personally, I feel could have stemmed from being accustomed to dominating so very frequently. So he's under a lot of
Yeah.
psychological pressure to maintain his top performance, and he's up against a very, very good driver.
Also, sorry to
Russell,
interrupt. It's still embarrassing to be beaten by a junior teammate who doesn't have win 7 championships. So that's also part of it. I
exactly.
think that is for any driver. Even Verstappen would feel the same way. Sorry, continue. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's part of the pressure. So Hamilton's relationship with George Russell is very complex. Russell's rising performance and strategic successes may feel threatening, may be threatening Hamilton, intensifying his reaction to any perceived bias by his management
Yeah.
team.
So
So
basically, he's paranoid. Go
yes,
ahead.
he's
Yeah.
paranoid, exactly. So Hamilton might view the strategy as deliberate, the strategy during the race,
Yeah.
as deliberate
Yeah.
to sabotage rather than
Yeah.
an oversight. His comments
Yeah.
suggest, if you listen to his comment, they suggest that there's a belief that his team favored Russell, which I don't think is true,
Yeah.
which could
No,
stem from
no,
past
and also, can I say
experiences
one thing?
or
Can I say
insecurities,
one thing?
basically. Yes, go ahead.
So, yeah. Sorry to cut you.
Yeah.
I believe that in some ways it is favoring Russell, but it's in more of like preparing him for next year and giving him maybe priority on upgrades, but not in that instance. That one tire instance, that wasn't sabotage. And also, it's not sabotage when you tell at the beginning of the season you're leaving your team, so now they focus on the other driver. That's not sabotage. That's called wisdom.
It's
But
not. It's just an
specifically, I
over.
don't believe
It's
Mercedes.
just an
Yeah, I don't believe
oversight.
Mercedes. It's an oversight. I don't think Mercedes did anything to undermine Hamilton's race. I just think that it was a brilliant and brave move by Russell.
Of course, and
Now, all of this being said, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
he
Yeah,
took the initiative to tell them, I
yeah,
can pull this off. It takes a brave driver to do that. So I don't
yeah.
think it was sabotage in any way.
No, it wasn't sabotage, but also, so Hamilton complained that they didn't tell him that Russell could do the option, but it hadn't happened yet. Hamilton also said these tires feel good. I'm not sure if he really said, "Can I have a one stop?" But if he did, they told him, "Oh, maybe you don't do it." But he should have been insistent. You understand? He should have been. And
Yeah,
also, I want to say something about Hamilton. At the beginning of the season, you tell people you're going to Ferrari. Um, that once you do that at the beginning of the season, no matter what team, this is just human nature because human beings
yeah,
are primates and we're social creatures. You alienate yourself from the team. Now, the
yeah,
flip side is you are replacing signs,
yeah,
who to me, this is the greatest travesty in Formula One. The Signs is leaving a top drive when he's a top driver and he's been doing well. So now Signs has to be told at the beginning of the season that he's gone.
yeah.
And he's been driving brilliantly for Ferrari. Thank you. What are your thoughts, Afolabi? Yeah.
Yeah, basically, I feel really very sad myself because science has been very brilliant over the years. I could recall,
Yeah.
some very strategic overtakes and races throughout his Ferrari career.
Yeah.
He executed multiple strategic overtakes, including
Yeah.
impressive moves against drivers like Perez, Stroll, even,
And also great strategy.
yes,
Yeah.
great strategy.
He's the best
So,
strategist in Formula One. He knows the cars, he knows his tires, and he knows what he needs to do. He has very good insight about decisions. Continue. Sorry.
yes. So he had strong podium finishes, including a notable performance that I was researching about, where he moved from seventh podium and another significant podium finish in Singapore,
Yeah.
highlighting consistency and competitiveness. So he's really
To
done well
me,
for
to me,
he's done well
to
for
me,
Ferrari.
he's very close to being the driver of the year. I think Verstappen outbalances him a little bit because Verstappen has been driving fantastically and in an inferior car. But to me, Sainz is the most notable driver I've seen this year. And that at the beginning of this year, I didn't realize just how good he was. So he's a good gem and surprise.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, he's going to a team that may not be competitive, Williams, although
yeah,
they'll have
sure,
Mercedes engine. But
sure.
good luck to him. Let's switch because this show is about to be about Checo. Give me
Yeah.
your thoughts on Checo. What are your thoughts? Because I hear Peter Windsor's not saying anything, but I hear Cameron, the boy who says Toto Wolf
Yeah.
cried wolf. I hear him say I hear him saying that Red Bull is stupid for choosing uh um Checo again. I don't think it's as clear cut as that. I think it's complex. What are your thoughts? Yeah.
A couple of weeks back, it was who would replace Checo. It was as if the
Yeah.
die was cast, whether it was going to be
Yeah.
Liam Lawson or Daniel Ricciardo. Of course, Ricciardo would have been the better choice based on
Even you and me, we
experience.
were we were laughing at Checo. Continue.
Yes, we are laughing at Checo.
Yeah.
It was a laughing stock due to some very poor performances off the back of a new
Yeah.
contract. But all of a sudden, he's picked himself up and has started to improve. And I think that's what really made Christian Horner, to take that decision because Helmut Marko was not on Checo's side. Marko actually wanted him
No.
to be kicked out. But Horner insisted
Yeah.
that he stayed beyond season. So there was
Yeah.
there was an important meeting between Horner and Marco, and the decision was taken. And I feel the decision would border around loyalty, basically, which I believe
Yeah.
stability. Changing drivers mid-season could disrupt team dynamics and performance. So I think it was an inspired
Yeah.
decision, even if Christian Horner seems to get decisions wrong every now and then. I think this one is spot
Yeah.
on. It doesn't
Well,
it
here's what
doesn't
I think.
affect the dynamics and the performance. And then Perez has been a
Here's why.
loyal
Yeah.
servant to the team. Yes, go ahead,
Lawyer. Yeah. Very
Mustafa.
important. Yeah. Very important. So here's the three things. Three things save Perez because as much as Horner likes Perez, he would have dropped Perez if not for the fact that Perez came P7 2 weeks ago. Then I think he came P7 again. But more importantly, in qualifying in Belgium, Perez came P3 or
Okay.
P3 or P4. What was it? I think it was P3
I
or
think it
P4.
was
So what I'm
P4.
saying is that Perez, he out qualified Norris and Piastri in Belgium. He out qualified them and put them in the back and put them in dirty air, which is why Piastri didn't win and why Verstappen beat Norris. I don't care what everybody else says. P7 is still not sufficient for Perez, but it's an improvement because 2 or 3 weeks ago he couldn't even make it out of Q1 in qualifying. So I think
And
what
you
he
know
did
what,
was he
Mustafa,
saved himself.
what you actually said, sorry to cut you short, what you said is quite in order because
No, go ahead. Thank you.
there are fine margins in Formula One. A little improvement
Yeah.
can boost your confidence, and there's potential for improvement after the break.
Yes. And I think he has the right attitude. And I'm very disappointed in people as soon as he finishes the race. So, do you think they will cut you from the team? That's inhumane. You don't talk to anybody like that when they're going
Yeah.
under
But
pressure.
you know, it's the
Same thing with
media.
Sainz.
It's the media. At the end
Yeah,
of
the
the day,
media.
the media
Well,
makes
yeah, but here's the
stories.
thing. Especially British media, which is why Britain
Yeah.
can't win. They can't win championship because
Yeah.
Southgate has to read the newspaper. Every move
Yeah.
Southgate makes, they're insulting him.
Yeah.
But I thank God for
Especially Sky. Sky is notoriously bad for being
they're very
pro-British.
bad. Yeah. So my thing is that um, Checo barely saved himself, and he still needs to improve. But from what I've seen, he's getting better. And one thing in life, when you're given a second chance, I've made mistakes in life, and which could have cost me a lot. It wouldn't cost me my life, but it could cost me the happiness of my life. And then when I survived, I doubled up on my work and said, okay, I almost lost a chance. I almost lost my job. They, I saved my job by a little bit, and now I'll be inspired to improve. And I am predicting that at the end of this season, Checo will be scoring points. I don't know if enough points to win the. I think he will do a good job, and I think that Verstappen will win the championship. What do you think? Yeah.
I agree with you. If Perez improves his performance, which I feel he will, because
And I think he will because he's been given a second chance. You know, that type of
yes,
relation. You know what I'm talking about? I follow me like when you're young and the teacher says, I'm going to cane you because you did badly. And you keep begging the teacher. And she said, okay, go home for today. Tomorrow you will study and you will do and your psychology will be better. On the other hand, McLaren's psychology is going down because Norris is not happy. He's not happy.
yes,
But that's another
yes,
story. So give us your last
yes.
thoughts, I follow me here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so basically, you're right about that. There will be improvement after the break. Red Bull can strengthen their position in the constructors and fend off the pressure from McLaren. The only problem
Yeah.
remains is that if Perez' performance remains uneven or negative, Red Bull might struggle to maintain their lead, especially with McLaren.
Yeah, I think they're going to have troubles in maintaining the. But I think Perez. I'm just talking as a psychologist now because I have some
Yeah,
psychological insight. I think right now he's relieved and he's focused again. Because you've been saved. He was been saved a very big embarrassment. It would have
yeah,
been, and also
I agree with you.
we have to give credit to Horner. It would be too disruptive to change drivers in the middle of the
I
season,
agree with
and
you.
there's no guarantee the new driver that comes in
I
will
agree with you,
will.
Moose. He has taken a risk, but leaders are paid to take big risks.
And also, I think in the long run, if you bring in Ricardo or yeah, what did you say? What did you say? Something funny. What did you say?
I say he took a risk by sticking with Checo.
Yeah,
But at the end of
yeah,
the day, as a leader, you are paid to take such big decisions.
yeah. Also, as he took a risk by sending a letter to that lady.
Only Honor.
Horner. But I love. To be honest with you, as bad as Horner is, I love him, and also I love Checo. I don't care even if Checo loses; he's a human being, and I love him, and I want
Yeah,
to see him finish the season. Next season is another story.
yeah,
Hopefully, Checo can do well and go back to next season, but it's
yeah.
another story
And another
for
dimension to it, Moose, is
yeah,
the fact
yeah.
that I don't think Red Bull wants a driver nearly as good as Max
I was
Verstappen.
about to say the same thing because Verstappen likes Checo. After the race, they said Checo is messing up. Verstappen said, "No, he's okay. He's okay." Verstappen
Yeah,
said, "He's okay. He's
he
okay."
doesn't like competition at all.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think that Red Bull is more focused on the drivers' championship than the constructors. But I think if they
Constructors,
don't, but I think
yes,
that if they don't win the constructors, they're losing money, and even it'll start to affect Verstappen. That's why I say this whole thing is complex. But
yeah.
as a human being, I like Perez because he's humble and quiet.
Yeah,
So
it's the
give us
opposite
your
for
last.
McLaren. McLaren
Yeah,
prefers the team constructors and team, their own
yeah, yeah,
visions
yeah.
for
We
the
can talk
team.
quickly on that. We'll talk about that on the next episode about
Okay,
how Zach
Okay.
Brown, he's an American. It's all about money, and I understand his position because if McLaren wins the constructors, everything is okay. So that's why he does team orders. His main thing is to win that, and he knows that Norris can't win the team championship this year.
Yes.
Ideally, you want to know the drivers. Ideally, you want to win both. But
But
this year, I
Moose,
think
for an ambitious driver, it will be difficult to work under those kind of conditions.
yeah, I like Norris. I just don't think he's ambitious.
Uh,
I don't think that's part of who he is. He's not ambitious because even Verstappen did simulator again until 3 in the morning the week after they told him not to. Not just ambition, self-possession, and aggression. Because like Verstappen said, I don't care even what Red Bull says.
that guy
I'm
doesn't
going
have a
to.
social life.
No, he doesn't have one. All right, so thank you. Thank you very much, Afolabi, for taking time out. We're dedicated to Formula One, coming out of Lagos, Nigeria, Formula One fanatics. Best show coming out of West Africa, best show coming out of Nigeria. And even if we're not the best in the whole world, we're giving you counter views that Toto the boy who cried wolf's attacker doesn't. Take us out. Take us out very quickly, Afolabi.
Okay, so we'll see you guys again. Maybe next time out, we'll be talking about the McLaren team strategy and some other things. There's a break now in Formula One to be back at the back end of August in Netherlands. See you next time from me, Afolabi, and from Mustafa. Have a wonderful day.
Good night. Thank you.